Yesterday, the World Health Organization published an article titled World Health Assembly Update 25th of May 2019. In this article, it appears that the member states of the WHO agreed to adopt the 11th revision of the International Statistical Classification of Diseases and Related Health Problems, also known as ICD-11, which will come into effect January 1st, 2022. For those of you who don't know, ICD basically sets the diagnostic classification standards for clinical and research purposes, essentially being the yellow pages of diseases, disorders, and injuries. Kind of showing my age with that yellow pages reference. What would be a good Zoomer reference to that be? It's the Wikipedia of being sick. No. Sick means good now. Or does it mean bad now? I can never keep up. Anyway, it's the meme compilation of how your body can yeet you out of existence while dabbing on your family as MLG air horns blare in the background. Of particular interest is the subcategory 6 of the ICD-11 titled Mental, Behavioral or Neurodevelopmental Disorders, since there's a new entry under the section Disorders due to addictive behaviors. Now, had I been personally consulted about this, I would have strongly recommend that we put watching YouTube videos in this category, because I'm pretty sure there's nothing more harmful to someone's neurological development than watching some of the dumb shit that's on this website. Now, since I wasn't consulted, unfortunately, the dumbass bureaucrats at the World Health Organization have mistakenly come up with the idea of a gaming disorder that they've parked right beside gambling disorders. Fellow gamers, this is just another attack on us. We need to rise up, keyboards, controllers, and anime body pillows in hand, and let the people of the WHO know that we do not take kindly to being memed on in this absolutely outrageous fashion. Gamers are already the most oppressed minority in the world, despite the fact that we are a majority of the people in the world. We have been scapegoated, maligned, and targeted for things that we don't deserve time and time again, and yet here we still are, doing nothing but grinding loot boxes and smoking weed in our Christian Minecraft servers. Blaze it. Never waste a diamond on a hoe. Okay, so jokes aside, this is actually not a big deal, and it actually might be a big deal at the same time. If you look at the criteria that gaming disorder is manifested by, it is characterized by a pattern of persistent or recurring gaming behavior, digital gaming, or video gaming, which may be online, i.e. over the internet, or offline, manifested by 1. Impaired control over gaming, 2. Increasing priority given to gaming to the extent that gaming takes precedent over other life interests and daily activities, and a continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. The behavior pattern is of sufficient severity to result in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. This is further qualified by the following section. The pattern of gaming behavior may be continuous or episodic and recurrent. The gaming behavior and other features are normally evident over a period of at least 12 months in order for a diagnosis to be assigned, although the required duration may be shortened if all diagnostic requirements are met and symptoms are severe. So what does all that mumbo jumbo mean? In a nutshell, it's saying that if 1, you have no control over how much you play games, 2, you choose to game over participating in other aspects of your life, and 3, you continue to game despite the fact that your keyboard is filled with Cheeto dust, you haven't been laid in a year, you haven't been going to class, and work is calling you to say you're going to get fired, then maybe it's time to consider that you've got a problem. And that all seems pretty reasonable to me. Now, there's probably going to be some people who are like, why is a knitting disorder officially recognized? Forehead? Why is gaming being singled out? And to that I say it actually is. It's categorized under ICD-11 6C5Z, disorder due to addictive behaviors unspecified, which I can only assume is a catch-all blanket for addictive behaviors that lead to negative life consequences. What's really important to me here is the similarity between the definition of gambling disorder and gaming disorder. In fact, it's basically a copy-paste of gambling disorder with a few words changed. This tells me that gaming is big enough on a global scale to diagnostically define problematic behavior patterns by people who game. That's not the same as problematic behavior by gamers. Checkmate, femtheists. Now, I've been saying for a very long time, albeit privately and in online discussion forums, that gaming shares a lot of problematic behavior patterns that gambling does. And we've even seen gaming and gambling become blended together with betting websites, loot boxes, and even more simply and subtly baked into the culture, random loot in RPG games and MMOs. These games have been taking advantage of the psychological pathways that gambling uses for a very long time. Find me a gamer who was in high school when World of Warcraft was launched, and there's a very high probability that they would have met some some of these criteria for addiction. Playing for long hours, prioritizing it over other stuff, and doing it despite the negative life consequences. Find me a WoW player who wasn't doing that, and I'll say they're a fucking casual who wasn't committed enough, and they're never getting into my raiding guild. They can farm mats for our crafters though, if that's what they want to do. That shit is boring. This could have some consequences in the long term. Already we've been seeing some states moving to legislate loot boxes as gambling, but in my opinion, I actually don't see much of a difference between loot boxes and farming a boss hoping for a drop. Psychologically to me, these seem pretty similar. And if your game is based around a subscription model, then wouldn't you make the drop rates pretty low to keep people playing and paying? Anthem. The only substantial difference I can see is that loot crates are simply a more egregious version of this, and gaming culture has come to accept grinding for rewards and hasn't accepted loot crates. Now to clarify, I'm not saying these things are 100% equivalent. What I am saying is that psychologically for the consumer and financially for the company, they have a lot in common. The player inputs money and time, and the game outputs rewards and experience. Only in the loot box model, they strip out the time and experience and just offer rewards and money, and then tie it to the player's time and experience in game. Devilishly clever and horrifically exploitative. Companies have been exploiting these types of behavior for profit for decades. Is it really a surprise that loot crates became so endemic to gaming when it's just the distilled and purest form of the psychological exploitation of Skinner boxes that made games like World of Warcraft so popular? We're getting a little bit off topic, and I don't want to go too deep into the loot boxes in this video, but I think the big takeaway here is that down the line, we might see more stories of addicted gamers, treatment, legislation on games similar to gambling, and so on and so forth. So why did I make this video? Well, this is actually a bit of a personal topic for me, because at one point in my life, by the criteria laid out in the ICD-11-6C51, I had or was exhibiting the symptoms of gaming disorder, and it really negatively impacted my life. I won't go into too much detail, but the invincible, infallible potato actually had some personal problems that I was using gaming to hide from. If gaming disorder had been better known and talked about, maybe I would have gotten the help that I needed sooner. The second reason is that I have a fucking monstrous pain in my arse with this dumb ass gamer bros who can somehow string together enough brain cells to edit and upload a video, but not actually wrangle enough brain power to think critically about these sorts of topics and just instantly jump out onto clickbait outrage. I really do think a lot of these guys on YouTube are doing it for purely financial reasons. Clickbait makes money. Honestly, I was tempted to make an outrage video about this to make more money, but I made the decision. There's enough of that going on, and I wanted to make a video that would inform, entertain, and make money rather than misinform, emotionally manipulate, and make money. Hopefully you came away from this video informed and entertained. If you want links to any of the sources that I used to write this video, check out the video description. Also, don't forget this YouTube thing is my full-time job, and if you want to support me making more content, watch my videos, check me out on Twitch, or sponsor my YouTube channel, or send me a Twitch Prime, whatever, donations, it's all good, right? Maybe one day I'll make a Patreon. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time.